Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. In today's video, we will discuss how will the months of February and March 2024 be. In all my videos, I have been talking about April and May 2024. But let us also have a look at how the months of Feb and March 2024 will be. What is an important transit which is taking place in February 2024? So on 5th February 2024 at 9:56 p.m. IST, Mars or Mangal transits into its exaltation sign of Capricorn or Makar. And here Mars becomes very powerful and it comes in conjunction with Pluto and Sun and Mercury, who are already present in the sign of Capricorn or Makar. Now Sun is going to remain in Capricorn till 13th February 2024. And then Sun will move into the sign of Aquarius where it will conjunct with Saturn. Venus enters Capricorn on 12th Feb. So we will have a conjunction of Sun, Mars, Pluto, Venus, Mercury in Capricorn. So now let us study the impact of this conjunction, mainly Sun, Mars, Mercury, Pluto and later Venus coming in Capricorn. So you can see the purple square, which is the chart on 5th February 2024, 9:56 p.m. IST, when Mars enters into the sign of Capricorn, shown by the purple box. Now first, let us understand what is Capricorn. Capricorn is a sign which is ruled by Saturn. It is also known as Makar, and it represents discipline, hard work, structure, our economy. It represents practicality. It also represents the masses or the general public. Now for Mars, this is actually an enemy sign because it is ruled by Saturn, who has the exact opposite nature of Mars. But Mars gets exalted in this sign. Why is this so? Because Mars is a warrior. Mars is a soldier, and a soldier performs best on the battlefield fighting with its enemies. And therefore Capricorn is the battlefield where Mars gets exalted. Mars becomes extremely powerful. Mars becomes practical here. On the other hand, Mars becomes debilitated in the sign of Cancer, because Cancer is like home where a soldier has nothing to do. Cancer is the sign of nurturing. It is the sign of taking care of someone. And when Mars comes here, he becomes very weak. On the other hand, in Capricorn, Mars is now very strong. Now Mars is a planet which represents aggression, which represents war, which represents weapons. Pluto is representing death followed by destruction followed by rebirth. Pluto believes in destroying old hierarchical structures in order to build new better structures. Sun is the king. Sun represents brightness. Sun represents fire. Now Mars, Sun are very hot planets, and both these planets represent heat and fire. Now what kind of fire is this? Because Mars is involved, it can be fire through weapons, it can be fire through wars, it can be fire through different kinds of conflicts. So when Mars and Sun are present in Capricorn, revolution among the people increases. A struggle between the government and the common people increases because Sun also represents the government and authority. Mars represents the army. So this also shows a struggle between the people in different countries and the armies in those countries. Mars and Sun represent hot planets, fiery planets, heat, and therefore this could also represent an increase in terrorist activities in this time period across different countries in the world. Now, this may not impact India so much. It impacts the Western countries, the European regions, Russia, Ukraine, countries in those sphere in a bigger way. For example, when Mars was conjunct with Pluto in the year 2020, we had the corona pandemic. When Mars was conjunct with Pluto in Feb 2022, the Russia Ukraine war started. When Mars was conjunct with Ketu in the sign of Libra recently around October 7th, that time the Israel Hamas war started. So Mars is the karka for wars. Without Mars, there cannot be wars. And now again, Mars is coming in conjunction with Pluto very soon after 5th February. And therefore, it indicates an increase in warlike situations, terrorist activities, revolution between people and governments, struggle between people and governments, and also an increase in warlike situations, especially in the European regions, America, and Russia, Ukraine. Those wars will intensify further. Now, Mercury is also with Mars, Sun, and Pluto. Mercury is our speech, Mercury is our communication. So, during this time period, we all have to be careful on the way we communicate with our superiors, with our authorities, because Mars can add rashness to our communication. Mars may force us to take rash decisions. We may feel very angry or agitated when Sun and Mars are in Capricorn. Because Capricorn represents the masses, it represents anger among masses, it represents anger against governments, and it shows a struggle between the common person and the government in different countries, especially in the Western countries and the European region. Now, Capricorn also represents the economy. Mars and Sun represent heat, fire. So, there is a fire or an anger among the people over employment issues in different countries, is also what this conjunction shows, and that could also result in conflict with government and authorities in different countries. So, the job scenario in this time may be very bad in different countries. Layoffs can increase exponentially, and that can cause people to protest, to come down to the streets, and to fight with the authorities. This is a very practical thing that can happen in this time period. Capricorn also represents production setups, large factories, and when Mars and Sun are present here, it represents heat and fire. So, incidences of factories catching fire or places where lot of masses work together, industrial setups, catching fire can increase in this time period in a big way, is what this conjunction shows. Now, because Pluto is with Mars and Sun, it also shows a lot of destruction, lot of struggle, but eventually it will result in a better structure. Now, one interesting thing to observe is that both Saturn and Mars put an aspect on the sign of Aries. Saturn puts its third aspect, Mars puts the fourth aspect on the sign of Aries, which has Jupiter and Uranus in it. Now, one principle in astrology is whichever sign receives the common aspect of Mars and Saturn, that sign will undergo a lot of challenges, lot of struggles. Now, in Aries or Mesh, you have Jupiter and Uranus. Jupiter represents spiritual beliefs, higher learning. Uranus represents suddenness, technology. So, during this time period, technology improves in a very big way. But because Saturn and Mars are again aspecting Uranus and Jupiter, it shows religious riots or revolutions due to religious issues, revolt among the people based on religious issues, or riots due to religious issues happening in these 2 months of Feb and March 2024 also. And because this is the sign of Aries, which is the first sign in the zodiac belt which represents new beginnings, it also shows new revolutions, new struggles, new revolutionaries in the world, and a lot of religious conflict happening in these 2 months of Feb and March 2024 in India, because this is the 12th house. It shows loss due to religious conflicts or even riots happening due to religious conflicts in these 2 months of Feb and March 2024, which eventually will act as a fuel for the events that will happen in April 2024. As I have explained earlier, April and May 2024 are very sensitive months, and this conjunction, or rather this aspect of Saturn and Mars on Uranus and Jupiter, will further fuel events in April. If you look at the Navamsha currently on 5th Feb 2024, you can again find Saturn Mars conjunction in the Capricorn Navamsha, and that clearly indicates a lot of struggle between the government, the common people, the masses, and lot of revolutions in the times ahead in these 2 months. The Saturn Mars conjunction in the Capricorn Navamsha shows that the Russia Ukraine war will now escalate in a very big way. Russia may use weapons of mass destruction in this time period, and the war may also spread to other regions. So, especially in the European region, this Russia Ukraine war can further spread, and there could be a direct conflict between Russia and USA in this time period. Whatever happens in Capricorn also impacts China, so China can become very warlike in this time period, and it could create disturbances in Taiwan as well as India very soon, is what I see. You can also see Saturn, Mars, and Sun, Neptune in opposition in the Navamsha, which again shows the struggle between government and the common person. Remember, Navamsha is the fruit which shows you the exact result. And clearly, the exact result here is revolutions, struggles between common man and the government, and new wars coming up. So this is bad news for the European region, Russia, Ukraine war especially, as it is going to escalate now in a very big way. So the moral of the story is the Russia-Ukraine war escalates, newer conflicts start in the European region, and the struggle between the masses and the government increases in this time period. In India, religious conflicts, riots can increase in a big way in the coming months of Feb and March. Now, one more point is Pluto represents underworld, Pluto represents gang wars. So, during this time period when Mars and Sun are going to come close to Pluto, that time terrorist activities, gang wars, and underworld activities increase in a big way. So you might find a conflict between the police and the underworld in this time period, or lot of gang wars happening in this time period, is also what this shows, especially in the Western countries. Pakistan is going to experience a big loss in this time period. It might undergo a lot of conflicts and lot of problems in this time period. The combined aspect of Saturn and Mars on Aries is why Pakistan is going to experience a lot of problems. The northwest regions of India, namely Kashmir, is also going to experience problems. The northeast parts of India, Assam, Mizoram, Meghalaya, they will also experience lot of challenges in this time. The conjunction of Mars and Pluto, Mars is going to remain in Capricorn till 15th March 2024. So that is going to bring problems in the southwest portion of India. The southern states, namely Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, may see lot of protests in this time period, is also what this conjunction clearly shows. Religious disputes will increase in the southern states of India, is also what is clearly seen. So in Europe, Middle East, problems will be related to wars and struggles between masses and government. In India, it will be more of religious issues and protests that will come up. Now, Mars also represents the earth element. Sign of Capricorn is an earth sign. And when Mars comes in conjunction with Pluto, it can also bring earthquakes because Mars and Saturn are aspecting Jupiter and Uranus. The earthquake can come in the northwestern parts of India, the Himalayan belt, the regions of Delhi, NCR are highly prone to earthquake in this time period. A western country may also see a large earthquake in this time period when Mars comes in close conjunction with Pluto. Forest fires will also increase in this time period because Venus and Mercury are with Mars, which represents forest fires. So friends, that's all from my end. If you like this video, please mark it as liked on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel by clicking the subscribe button if you have not done so already. For any queries, you can write to us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com and we'll be glad to assist you. To know more about us, you can visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.